Hey, welcome to the Halos in the Infield flagship podcast with your hosts, Todd Fox, Fernando Mendez, and Courtney from Riverside. Hey, welcome into another episode of the Halos in the Infield flagship podcast. We're down a woman, but we're up a man, if that makes any sense. It's Todd Fox here with the other host of the show,
the Lone Star Halo. And real quick, before we introduce our guest, do you guys know what I'm holding right now in my hand?
What are you holding?
I brought this up for the shtick, okay? These, my friends, are Bucky swim trunks. You can't see them.
Oh, there they are.
And the reason why I have them is because I want to bathe with you in the sea, because it's been a whole lot of Savage Garden lately.
Hell yeah. Savage Garden has been on the playlist almost every night lately. So,
yeah.
Oh, man. And so our guest tonight, besides Bucky, will be coming from Pico Rivera, an area that Artie Moreno knows very well. The host, the one and only
Better Mitchell. I'm here. The A Train loves me. He comes around all the time. And I do not enjoy. I enjoy Stukas over Disneyland than Savage Garden, because that means the Halos won, and we get to hear Artie drink as much scotch as he wants because the Halos win.
Yeah, Stukas is definitely a song we haven't played much in the last 25. And before we get started, speaking of that, we had that 25 game vaunted teams above 500 record, and we wondered, how will we finish? And basically all of us, the way the Angels played, we all said, hey, they're going to be under 500 in that 25 game streak. Well, we weren't wrong. 7 wins, 18 losses. How about that?
Love to see it. Love to see it.
So if you're hanging with us so far and you haven't jumped off the big Halo from the 600 section that Roger Lodge promotes, we've got a lot of baseball to talk about, a lot of bad news, and just about the future in general and what's been going on. So we're going to cover it all, right? So Fernando, what do you want to get started with today?
Is this where I'm supposed to mention the backpack drive?
Correct.
Oh, okay. All right. So let me take off the virtual background for just a second so you guys can actually see when I'm holding things up. All right. So just to prove to you guys that we have these prizes here, I have 4 Zach Neto signed photos. See, Zach Neto, cool little designs here. Got a couple of them. So yeah, we got 4 of them right here. And we haven't exactly figured out how we're going to disperse the prizes, but we have 4. So 4 people will win a Zach Neto signed photo.
We will have an answer, though, prior to the distribution of the backpacks. So
absolutely. We're taking donations to the end of the month. Very beginning of September is when we should be doing this, the live stream where we pick all the winners. We have 2 Ty Buttrey signed baseballs. Sorry, I only brought 1 out, but there is a second, I promise. And then we got the grand prize, a Mike Trout 2016 All-Star Game baseball.
Ooh-wee. That's awesome. That is really awesome.
So I drove to my apartment, which is an hour and 6 minutes away from where I have been staying, just to get that. So
there you go. So
all you have to do is for every $2 you donate, you get a raffle ticket. And like I said, there will be multiple winners. I don't know how we're going to disperse them. In my mind, it was going to be the grand prize winner gets a Zach Neto signed photo, a Trout signed ball, and a Ty Buttrey signed ball. That was in my mind. That's what I'm going to try to debate with Todd. I think Todd's going to want to share the wealth a little bit.
Absolutely. Here's a question I had to ask before we get into the baseball talk real quick, Fernando.
Sure.
If someone were to be extra generous, per se, as far as to the donation, I mean, like maybe a couple hundred, you'd probably be inclined to be like, well, I think you earned the Mike Trout baseball, right?
Depends how many hundred we're talking. Here, okay. The whole thing I wanted with this Mike Trout signed baseball was I wanted it to go for a good cause. I mean, because you can get a Mike Trout signed baseball for like $500.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to at least make that in terms of donations. I think we've just about gotten there. Yeah. Depending how good the donation is, I might be inclined to even give out a second Mike Trout signed baseball. Remember, I have 4.
Yeah,
I have 4. So I mean, it's going to take an awful lot for me to part way with 2 of them. But
there you go. For you collectors out there, if you want to go through the hassle of going to the stadium and predicting when he will or will not be there, we got a deal for you if you're interested, and it's helping a good cause too. None of the money is going to us personally, not to him either. It's all going to a good cause.
Absolutely. Get some backpacks for some needy children in San Bernardino. But that's enough of that. You guys know what's going on. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, all that. We're taking money on Venmo and PayPal. All that will be in the description down below, wherever you found this podcast.
Absolutely. So
Better donated. So
I did. Yeah. I did.
Yeah. We've all made donations, and we've had other people making donations, so we're very happy, but we still got a goal to reach, and we hope you can help us get there. Absolutely. So with that being said, let's get started, shall we? Again, the Angels come off a sweep to the Cincinnati Reds. Look, I listened to AM 830 today. Trent Rush was on there along with Roger Lodge, and he was like, hey, I think it's the pitching. The pitching's got to be better. And they went through all the stats, right? So I just want to share a couple stats with you guys, and if this is what you guys expected this season. The Angels, with runners on first and second, are batting a woeful 195. With first and third, they're batting 212. With runners in scoring position, period, they're batting 231. But with one runner on base, they're batting 312, which makes no sense.
Baby.
They're second in the league in most strikeouts, so they're catching up to number one very fast.
Love you, Thames.
Exactly. And the pitching from last year had a 3.76 ERA, ninth best in the league. This year, they're 28th with an ERA of almost 5 collectively. The bullpen,
higher than Snoop Dogg.
Exactly. That Munchie Mill's kind of high, but that's higher. So they provided all these stats, and Roger Lodge's only thing, a comment about everything was, we got to do better. How? Explain how we got to do better. Explain what we can do to be better. Their whole thing was, we just got to be better. Do you guys agree with that?
I'll let Better go first.
Everything needs to be better. Everything. Okay, first of all, so I was looking right here on Baseball Savant, and I see that the average, launch angle for the MLB is 12.8.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what the Angels is?
Probably like 34.9.
13.8. 13.8. It's a 1%. It's just one, but that can make a whole difference. Like, I know you were talking about how Shamwow, he like, if you see him in college and when he played in AA, he was good, like, and all that, but like he's not doing that. And Zach Neto too, he's a big example. Like, when he first came here, he was in college, he was in what's the college? It's
which one for Neto?
Yeah.
Campbell, yeah.
Campbell.
He was there, he was fine, he was perfectly fine, he was getting on base, he was that, but here he comes, Marcus Thames touches him, and I don't know, not to be a little judgmental, but he does look like someone who would. So another scandal for another day. That's after the whole Artie Moreno deal.
Artie knows all about it, which makes it worse.
Yes, he let it happen.
But like, his swing is so different. Everyone on the team is swinging for the fences. There is no way that Squid should have 2 home runs this season. Like,
hey, he's got as many as Rendon does.
There you go.
And he's getting paid a hell of a lot less.
Yeah, he sure is. So what do you think about that, Fernando?
I think that Trent Rush and Roger Lodge getting together would be awesome if Gooby was there. They'd have like the holy trinity of Halo hunkness. But on a serious note, there's so much wrong, just fundamentally wrong. Honestly, like, where to begin? Like, are we even going to talk about this Red Series? What's there to talk about, man? Same old Angels baseball. Mm-hmm. And you know what? At least this year we got swept by a respectable Reds team, right? They're
correct.
Good. They're young. Hell, they're fun to watch. And to be honest, I hope to make it in the postseason, and I hope to make some noise because I'll be there cheering for the Reds. That's a good team. They've run their organization the right way, and their fans are always like, well, our owner doesn't spend money. My godfather's a big Reds fan. Mm-hmm. His whole thing's always like, man, I wish the Reds spent money like the Angels do. Okay, so my godfather, I know you listen sometimes. If you are listening, I would much rather be like the Reds. I would much rather do it the right way. When was the last time the Angels have done anything the right way? Their marketing's the wrong way. Their coaching's done the wrong way. Hell, it doesn't matter batting, pitching, base running, anything. Was it Mickey Moniak during this series? He got picked off in the 9th inning.
Yes.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Mm-hmm. Simple, base running. I do not care. In the majors, there's no excuse. Let's talk about Squid real quick. Everyone's favorite Halo.
Mine for
His
sure.
fielding has been god awful this year. If you're going to have a guy who can't even hit his body weight, he better be the best goddamn defender in the world. I don't care what the excuse is. Like 15, 20 years ago, when Todd had hair and was younger, that was a baseball player who existed, right? You had the guys on your team who were only there for defense. That was okay 20 years ago. In today's brand of baseball, that player just doesn't exist anymore. It's not needed. Why? Because baseball players today are so athletic compared to where they used to be. They're so athletic that now everyone can field. Everyone should be able to hit, at least respectfully. If we're talking about Squid giving us maybe 1 or 2 errors and batting like 240, driving in a run, like 5 runs a week, okay, great. I'll take that. He's a versatile guy who plays all over the field. Okay. But we're talking about a guy who's got what, 9 errors?
Yep, 9 errors.
9 errors, batting 190. His errors continuously cost this team runs, wins. You said on the post-game show yourself, I would love to right now know what our record was before we called Velasquez up.
Yeah, I know it was
because
a winning
we did
record.
The right thing. Yeah, it was a winning record. Yeah, exactly. And It doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that, but I don't know off the top of my head what the record was. I don't even remember what date we called him back up. But we made the right decision originally, leaving him down in AAA, where he should have rotted. Should have rotted away like a rotten banana that's in the back of your refrigerator that you forgot to throw out. 4 years later, you're like, oh.
Yeah, you're like, that thing's growing trees.
Yeah. But that thing is growing more talent than Squid.
Exactly. I mean, look, me and you talked off the air about Vince Coleman back in the day was hitting like 195, 200, but he had an on-base percentage of 325 because he bunted and he sacrificed and he freaking walked a lot. Squid can't walk. He can't even sacrifice on a fastball down the middle. So this guy's a waste of space. But enough about him. I just want to sum up the Reds series real quick before we get into the real news, and that is the fact that this Reds team, whenever they needed a pitcher, a bullpen pitcher, they didn't say we needed a night off. They played them. They had a consistent lineup all 3 games, and they used guys back to back. Didn't matter. They stole bases, they sacrificed, and they weren't going for the launch angle like Vetter said. They scored runs, and when the Angels faced any adversity, when they put up a crooked number, the Angels offense hid for 5 innings. And when they needed to adjust to the Angels, they did, and the Angels didn't adjust back. And that has been a broken record all year. And that has cost them games, and I'm sick and tired of Bally's and everyone else saying it's pitching, pitching, pitching. When your pitchers give you 5 innings to come back and they put up zeros, you should be able to come back, at least scratch a run here, scratch a run there. But this team does not believe in manufacturing runs, taking what the team gives you. It's just all or nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, check out this. Okay, so in the 9th inning, you're only down 9-4. Not a big amount. You have Ohtani come up, strike out. Randall Grichuk come up, line out. Escobar comes up, ground out. These balls weren't like these 81 miles per hour. The pitch was thrown, and you strike out.
Yeah.
95, line out. And, okay, he hit it exit velo, 109. Good for you, line out. 81 mile per hour pitch, ground out. What is this team gives me like a different, like there's no hope.
Well, look at what they did the last 2 in the doubleheader. They went 3 for 22 with runners in scoring position, and they left 22 guys on base between the 2 games. So I mean, it just goes to show you that their inability to hit, shorten up their swings, create runs. They don't do it. It's either try to go to opposite field like Thames says, or hit one over the fence. So they dropped that series. But let's talk about the elephant in the room, Fernando. Shohei Ohtani. All year, that has been hanging over our heads. Will the Angels pay him? We said probably not. There's a list of teams that are lining up for him, right? Yeah. UCL tear on the same day. Trout, doesn't feel too good, and it looks like he needs more rest. We lose essentially both of them, and Otani's pitching now is gone till probably what, mid 2025.
Yeah. So real quick, I do have to ask you because I watched the post game show this morning. Like I was feeling with the
Yeah.
weather last night. So when I listened back, you were like almost questioning it, and you were like, "Oh well, how come you can't hit Ohtani?" Do you feel bad at least for that after calling him out, and then you find out he had a UCL tear and he played through game 2?
Yeah, I did. I did at some point, like I did this morning. I was like, "Hey, I was a little bit rough on," but to my credit, though, I wasn't watching the damn freaking. Or to my defense, I wasn't watching the post game, so I was doing my own post game, and that news hadn't broke till like I barely got on. So like
Okay, that's fine.
the fans were like breaking the news at the when I was reading the comments. So yeah, I did feel bad afterwards because I'm like, oh, that changes everything.
Joke's on you because you weren't listening to the real post game show, the Trent Rush post game show. That's the
Yeah.
real post game show. That's where the real Halo honks listening. Okay.
Screw you, Fernando.
That's what the real Angel fans listen to. Hey, Gooby, how about that Hyundai commercial, huh?
How about that $14 brownie?
Dude, I asked Wayne Randazzo when he was here in Arlington, like, hey, bro, are you around? And he's like, yeah, I'm in the booth. I want to know if he thought it was you messaging him and if he because he's like, this Todd guy's always mean to me. Why would I want to meet up with him? I was like, no, it was actually me. I was going to say hi.
Did he respond?
Yeah, well, he just said that he was in the booth already, so I missed him. Anyway, yeah. So the big news, obviously, like you had said, Ohtani most likely needing another Tommy John surgery. I mean, unless we're going to try some stem cell, which Garrett Richards had tried in the past, it didn't work. Stem cell is really good for repairing things like knee damage, cartilage damage, but so far hasn't been very successful in quick repairs on things like UCLs. I think maybe Bartolo Colon had success with that.
Yes.
And he's kind of like the poster child for it.
Yes.
But like Bartolo Colon fucked. Literally had secret families. So, I mean, this guy was like on a tier of his own. This guy does what he wants.
Dude, he went to Germany and got that and became a brand new pitcher.
Well, yeah, but like the guy, like I said, had like secret families and everything. I'm sure you remember that scandal. So, I mean, this guy lived by his own rules. Okay.
Still does.
Yeah, exactly. This guy is on his own tier. This guy's like living in 3036. Meanwhile, we're over here like, I need Tommy John surgery. But yeah, I mean, he's probably going to be out for a while. And, at the time you guys are listening to this is going to be the question of the day. Will Ohtani's potential Tommy John surgery help the Angels retain his services? I think we're probably all in agreement here that it probably will. Because the Angels might be the only team willing to pay him what he's probably going to deserve now.
Mm-hmm.
And because I feel like every other team's going to want to stagger it. Like, no, we're not going to give you, 40, 50, or $60 million this year because you can't pitch. I'm paying you to be a hitter for the next 2 years. And he's going to be like, no, I want to get paid, what I deserve. And they're going to be like, you don't deserve that. You're just a hitter.
True.
And then how is he going to be able to bounce back post Tommy John surgery twice? Like I said, we are just, throwing poop at the wall and seeing if it sticks right now. No news on that is official, but let's be real. I'm not a doctor, but chances are this man's getting Tommy John surgery.
True. What do you think better?
First of all, Fernando, you are more of a doctor than the Angels coaching staff.
Thank you. I one time sat through a chiropractic, situation where they try to convince you to be a chiropractor. So thank you.
You're hired then. You're hired. That's it.
You got the qualifications.
Yeah, all of a sudden I'm like, all right, Squid, take a deep breath. Oh no, you're Jack. He can't walk anymore. And Phil Nevin's like, well, he's starting a shortstop today anyway.
So. This Ohtani situation, it sucks. And the fact that we have a Trout and Ohtani injury announcement on the same day just makes it worse. Because Trout came back. In my opinion, I think he came back too early. Because right now we're at a point, we're not mathematically out. I'm not honking my horn, but I don't think we're coming back. Like, this is it. Like, I know Perry said that they're gonna give it 10 days to see how he's feeling. But like, I think that's just him saying 10 more days, and then it's official. We're shutting him down. 6-day IL. He could go sit with Rendon and do whatever Rendon does. So I think It's done. Ohtani, he's gonna stay. He's gonna stay here. And I think the A train was right. Yes, for the past couple of days, he's been saying he's gonna get the 2 year contract, 2 years, 600 million. Not those numbers, but 2 years. Because then that way we trade. Okay, look, we trade him and we get prospects back.
Mm.
See,
See, I'll say this. Otani right now, he's what, 29, right?
yeah,
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, he wants to cash in big time. That was the whole deal. Get your last contract now. Do you guys think he would take a 4-year deal with the Angels at about, let's say, 300, knowing that 2 of those years you can't pitch? You're just paying for the hitter of Otani, and then gamble on himself to get one last contract?
they do it, but with an opt out.
Mm. What do you think,
You
Fernando?
said 300 for 4 years.
Yes.
Isn't that like 75 a year?
Okay, maybe let me dial
Oh my what?
it back.
$75 million.
Let me dial it back. 200. So 200 4 years.
So
'Cause that
that's
would be 50.
50 a year.
Yeah, still be 50 because I mean, like,
Okay, well, here's the thing. I mean, whatever contract he signs, the Angels are smart. You would backload it.
yeah,
And the reason for that is A, you give yourself the ability to have insurance. Now, Artie Moreno insures all these contracts. And that's the reason why the Hamilton contract and the Pujols contract were both backloaded because, and CJ Wilson's, because they backload the contract. So because CJ Wilson, for instance, wasn't able to finish his last 2 seasons, Artie Moreno recoups the money from the first like 3 years of his contract because he's on a 5-year deal, right?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, he recouped a certain percentage of the first 3 years because they were insured. So that's why they tend to do that. Well, where a lot of owners backload contracts. But yeah, if you're smart, you backload the contract because at least you're paying for the pitcher and the hitter. I know Otani's a unicorn, but man, oh man, if he can come back and be a serviceable pitcher for, let's just say year 3 or 4 of a contract, if you do give him a 4, maybe a 5-year contract, that's going to be absolutely crazy. Because then we're talking about a 33-year-old man coming back from Tommy John surgery,
Mm-hmm.
who was also hitting the entire time. I know he did it once, but can he do it twice? And keep in mind, hitting Ohtani in 2019 and 2020, not very good when he was recovering from Tommy John surgery. Honestly, 2020, pretty dog water.
Yeah, that's a question we gotta see. I mean, because obviously I don't think we'll get 50 home run guy, but in all actuality, the Angels will still get the blame for this. There's already people saying, it's the Angels' fault, which I will say this, it's 50-50. You let the inmates run the asylum, you let them do what they want. Ohtani says, okay, I don't want to pitch Sunday, have Sandoval take my spot. I'll get it when we come back home. And it's like, bro, you're messing with other teammates and their regimen. Do you have your own regimen? Yes. Well, they do too. Be mindful of them. That's why I think that there's not a cohesive chemistry on this team because there's no discipline. You have divas like what's been brought out. You brought out, Fernando, about the fact that you found out Trout doesn't have that great of, off-season skills or prep or anything for a season. So
work ethic.
Yeah, work ethic. And then we'll get into what CJ Wilson talked about and all the stuff there that not only doesn't surprise us, we've actually brought up on our own because if it walks like a duck, looks like a duck, well, it probably is a duck, and that's the Angels organization. We started sniffing into the shit that was coming from Anaheim and Tempe by your deductions from other sources in the minor league system. And it has spiraled out from there to where it's like, bro, this team is being run like a 99-cent store. And
No, because in that sense store, there's one person, a man or a woman, who does the entire store's duties by him or herself. I don't think there's that here at all. I don't think there's anybody doing any jobs, and they're just kind of pointing at each other. Hey, who's leading the stretches today? That guy.
By the way, if you're listening, he's pointing different directions, not at himself.
Yeah, I'm pointing different directions. I'm pointing left and right, and then I did it with 4 fingers on each hand.
So what do you think, Vetter? I mean, is there truth to how do you see it as far as Ohtani and the reason why he now suffers this injury?
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to what my dad. I didn't tell you in the post game show or anything because it was one of the days where I couldn't call in. But my dad, he was saying because when he took that day off, and he was said, "Oh, I'm gonna pitch when we come back." He said they should rest him for a whole nother rotation
Hmm.
because he's fatigued. He does this all the time, and he told me he's like they should just sit him, rest him, give him a day off, give him multiple days off, give him that. I mean, he's a Clipper. We're a Clippers fan, so we know about the whole load management. So
Yeah.
so he was like, do that, have him. I mean, he's like, I know it sucks because the whole Kawhi, it's basketball, but I won't get into it. But like, he's like, do it, let him wait a whole other rotation, then he'll be fine. And my dad called it. He gets hurt. He comes back and pitches and gets hurt. Like it doesn't also doesn't help that it's the second doubleheader in a week, but like that it could have been avoided in my opinion. He was he's done so much things. Who hits 44 home runs and pitches this well? Like
Yeah.
If I may, piggyback off of that, I think the writing was on the wall, and I think we should have known this was coming. And I think he knew that this was happening, which is why A, he skipped so many times in his rotation lately, and B, he hasn't been throwing as many fastballs, which I understand a lot of people aren't throwing as much anymore because of the strain of the elbow. We've been judging him a lot for using the sweeper, but I feel like the sweeper probably puts a lot less strain on his elbow than the fastball does. So because of that, I wonder if that's why the sweeper became his primary pitch this year. Maybe he knew, because I mean he always wears that thing in his arm when he's like doing pitching exercises, right? And that
Yes.
tracks the damage to the ligament. It tracks everything. Nobody knows their body in sports more than maybe guys like Shohei Ohtani. You'd probably throw a guy like LeBron on there because he does all those cryo things. So, like those are like two guys who are very, very in tune with their body. Sure, there's a lot of football players. Like I think Aaron Donald does the same kind of thing.
Hmm.
There's a lot of these great athletes who know everything about their body. And Shohei Ohtani's on that tier. So with that being said, I think he probably knew this was coming.
True. And with that being said, and the damage done now, which is probably going to happen either way,
Mhm.
do you guys, what percentage do you put on the Angels re-signing him? Because, like Fernando said, I doubt he's going to come back with 50, 60 home runs next year, even if
Yeah.
he is a full-time DH. So, what would you, if you're Artie Moreno, and shame on you if you are, but if you're Artie Moreno, what's the
What?
percentage? What's the percentage, guys, that you sign him back, knowing what you know now? Bueller.
I was waiting for Vetter to respond.
Oh, sorry. It was just it's a process of you going first, and I was like, okay, I'll go. I think because of this injury, we're looking at a 46%. 46% we get him back. It's gonna be not a Mike Trout contract where it's like such a big like whoa. It's gonna be a little more like okay, maybe we sort of stole him in a sense, but it will be still a tight race because of what you're getting in 2025 possibly. And if we gut out the system that we have of the coaches and maybe the front office, I think we just got everyone out. Then possibly Ohtani has a chance of coming back even better in 2025.
Okay.
I think there is a lot more likely of a situation now that the Angels re-sign him. But once again, and I hate to play the bad guy. I think the best case scenario is we let him walk. Because I love Shohei Ohtani. You guys know that. Who doesn't love Shohei Ohtani? He's the most talented baseball player we've ever seen in our lives.
True.
Sorry, he is. People can say what they want. Oh, Ken Griffey Jr., blah, 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 blah. Great. Shohei Ohtani pitches and hits. Okay. So with that being said, this team is more than one piece away.
True.
We've said it for 3 years now. Shohei Ohtani is a great talent, but he hasn't done too much good for us as a collective team because he costs guys to move back in the rotation. Maybe that's the reason why guys like Detmers and Sandoval are struggling. I don't know. Right now I'm grasping at straws, but as of right now, what more can we do as a fan base? What more can this organization do? grasp at straws. What's going on? Why are these pitchers all of a sudden just not doing well? You're going to say what you want. Well, it's Matt Wise. Okay, well, Matt Wise was here last year and the year before that and the year before that. So I don't think it's that. I mean, I'm not saying Matt Wise is part of the solution. I don't think keeping him here is going to make us better next year. But I don't think he's solely the problem, So with that being said, what is it? Maybe it's the inconsistency in the rotation because of Ohtani. Maybe we can avoid Trout being hurt all the time if he was DHing. I love Shohei Ohtani, and it's going to pain me to potentially see him in another jersey. But guys, if you are a true Angels fan, if you're a Halo honk for life,
like
you need to be, like me, you need to be realistic. And being realistic, this team is more than a Shohei Ohtani away from contending. We've had him. He hasn't been the reason why we take our next step. Arguably, nobody in this roster has, and it's nothing on Shohei. He's been closer to the answer than guys like, God forbid, you guys are going to hate me, Trout has been, or especially guys like Rendon. Shohei Ohtani has been our best player throughout the last 2 seasons. And even with the UCL tip, he's probably going to, win MVP is my guess. So with that being said, I think we need to let him go, but I think he's going to stick around. Artie's going to throw the bank at him, and we're going to be, once again, in a regrettable situation where we're not winning for the rest of his career, maybe because of the financial hit we're going to take as an organization.
And I have to say one thing on that and what you guys both said. I do think he returns just for that, for the money that they're going to recoup from the Ohtani worldwide appeal. And if your goal as an owner is to put fans in the seats, sell merchandise, promote your brand, well, then Artie Moreno is one of the best owners in all of baseball, because obviously the thing that's missing right there in that equation is winning on the field. He doesn't care about that. While we're still pumping in 41,000 on fireworks nights or bobblehead nights or whatever, throwback nights, why does he have to build a winner? He can go on the cheap and just sprinkle in some players that are whatever around Ohtani and Trout. As long as you got that appeal, that draw, that's all he wants. That's all he needs. And just, again, we brought up the stadium and how these other teams are like, oh, we got to get out of our stadium deals. Arizona and Milwaukee talking they need new stadium and public funding. Stadiums that are less than 25 years old or around that age, when you got Anaheim there sitting since 61, going on 60 years or over 60 years. And it's like, dude, like
the Royals also, they're latest to throw their hat in the ring of potential relocation.
Yeah. And they literally revamped that stadium a couple years ago. They had the All-Star game there and
2012.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
do you guys think Anaheim ever gets another All-Star game? Assuming there's no giant renovation done in the stadium.
No.
Do you think we're done? Okay.
You have to renovate at least to get that All-Star game back in your stadium.
Yeah, I mean, 2010 is the last time we hosted it. And I mean, the stadium was still looking pretty good. Honestly, I'd say up until about 2016, 2017, the stadium was still all right. And it's been really post-COVID where the stadium's really started to show its age.
Yeah, it's looking funky now. It's looking pretty funky. They need some work to it. But the next thing I want to get into, guys, is that whole CJ Wilson thing, because there is a lot to unpack there. Just a couple things off the top. Albert Pujols requesting a special treadmill because of his plantar fasciitis. Artie said, no, that's too expensive. The food, several of the trainers told the players that if they're late, don't worry about it. We don't have anything here for you. Go get some Chick-fil-A. There's basically, no reviewing of film. So all these years, my dad's been like, boy, I don't know why we struggle against these rookies. Well, there's your answer. They don't study film. What do you guys think? I mean, these are some pretty damning things from years ago. Do you think it's gotten any better now?
No.
Mm-mm.
Well, I mean, Todd, what do we know about the way the organization's run, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Artie's a cheap ass. We know that. Okay, the Angels AAA budget, we're throwing it out there. $6,000 last year for the AAA entire medical staff budget was $6,000.
Pathetic.
Okay? Absolutely pathetic. There are single A clubs that have higher medical budgets. It was to the point last year where these guys who, keep in mind, last year were not unionized yet. They were still getting paid $12,000 a year or having to supply their own bandages and their own sunblock because the organization had ran out of money and refused to buy more because they were over their budget. Okay? This is the same dude that served one of his former players who's currently pitching for the Texas Rangers. Do the math. A cease and desist order for using the Angels logo for a free clinic to teach youth how to pitch in a foreign country, a third world country, may I add. Artie Moreno is a bad human. Artie Moreno has always been a bad human. Artie Moreno is cheap. Artie Moreno simply cares about money. And like Todd said, at the end of the day, if all that mattered was making money, which I get, it's a business, that is all that matters. He's a great owner. He's probably the best owner in baseball. If you're only looking at that, right? Okay, don't take that out of context, people. Don't clip that. If you are only looking at profit, Artie Moreno probably unmatched. Don't believe me. The guy bought the team for what, like $235 million, something like that?
I think only Michael Jordan has him beat. He purchased the Bobcats for, I think, 180, and they're worth 2.5 as he's selling them right now currently.
Well, yeah, but I mean, how many playoffs did the Bobcats, make it to?
Two.
Yeah, I mean, at least the Angels made it to like what, 5 or 6 under Artie's reign.
Yeah, but Artie's reign
because of Disney. But
yeah, Artie's reign, but Disney's guys.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know, guys. I mean, what's there to say anymore? What's there to say? I mean, I'm glad CJ Wilson said it. We've been trying to get it on the show for years.
Yes, we have.
I'm sure you saw the Instagram message.
I think
I tried again.
We need to buy a car from him, and I think that's the only way we'll get on there from his dealership. But what do you think, Vetter? I mean, that was some pretty damning things. I know sports figures are becoming more and more vocal, especially when they retire. And there's a certain somebody I think Fernando knows he's good friends with who might do the same once he retires. But obviously, still trying to make it in the leagues. But these former players, and I want a couple other Angel players to come out and say something and reiterate or confirm some of the things that CJ is saying. Do you think that's going to happen?
I mean, I don't think it's going to happen, but I mean, just because of how like conservative this team is and how like scared they are, I think CJ Wilson, he's been kind of removed from it for a while, so he's kind of like he doesn't really care anymore. So like, there's no one who can really like get him. So like you missed, like you didn't say this, but like he also said, imagine telling players just run really hard to first base and you'll be in great shape. Like,
oh yeah, he did say that.
Like if this is how we're running this team, and if this I know this was like social era and all that, but like still half of these guys from the social era are still here on this coaching staff and in this front office. Like, I think this is more of a John Caprino and Artie Moreno type situation, because you can get everyone out, but those two guys will still be there. This team is still run the same. There was no difference because nothing goes through without the two big men in the front office. Like, if we got rid of maybe just John Caprino and Artie was still here, maybe this team would be good. Because like you said, he's got money, he's got everything, but a winning ball club.
Yeah, I mean, like with Sosha, I do remember maybe that was the last few years when they were pushing analytics on him. I mean, he didn't want to do it at all. But I do remember going to Angel games early, and I mean early, when they're barely finishing up batting practice for the Angels. And even when I was younger, when they let you in a little bit earlier, these guys were running the outfield, the warning track, back and forth. They were doing exercises. I mean, it's not a coincidence that this team after 2014, 2015, 16, around that era, just started racking up injuries year after year. And the whole social ball, especially in the last couple of years, wasn't as prevalent as it used to be. Like, they bunted, but they weren't stealing bases like they were. They weren't pushing the first to third thing and taking that extra base. And maybe it's because they were in shitty shape.
I know like Trout has had a kid. He's got that dad bod now. So like I don't know if you've seen, but like younger pictures of him, like he looks good. He looks in shape. He looks fit.
Yeah.
You look at him now, he's got a little bit of that, like a little bit of a gut. He's got a little bit like a little stuff underneath here. Like he's growing out. And like same with Ohtani. Like I noticed that a little bit. Like I know he's still keeping in shape, but like if you look at like a picture from 2017 or like beyond that, you'll see how like skinny he was. But you look at him now, it's also muscle mass and all that because he does. I
Well,
don't.
they're both way too beefy, in my opinion. I mean, Ohtani, it works for Ohtani because he's still keeping that frame, but I think Trout's gotten too big muscle wise. There's not enough for me in cardio. He needs more cardio because even when he rips one down the line, he used to be lightning quick. Now he just like kind of jogs and chugs into second base.
I see Mike Mustaka is running faster than Trout.
Yeah.
Like
Well, I mean, what do you, because, okay, obviously you're not going to get a huge turnaround. If, say, for instance, what Vetter's saying, the Carpino aspect, let's just say Perry goes, all the coaches, and they just do a full reset on the coaches. Maybe not the team, but the full reset on the coaches. It's going to take a couple of years to implement everything, right, Fernando?
I mean, how many more times can we reset the GM? How many more times can we reset the coaching staff? The other thing is the thing that we also need to look at. The players have to want it.
Yep.
You can have the best coaching in the world. You can have the best front office in the world. If the players themselves don't want it, it doesn't matter. And realistically, tell me, Todd, which player wants it right now? What player is healthy right now that wants to be out there right now consistently? Some people probably say Shohei, and people would say that probably because he's going out there even injured. But keep in mind, this guy also is playing for a contract. Nothing against Shohei, but what if it's a Rendon situation? What if Ohtani gets paid and next year he's like, you know what? My UCL kind of hurts today. I don't want to play because now he doesn't have to play for that contract.
True.
We don't know. And you can say, well, Shohei's not like that. Well, people said the same thing about Rendon, I'm sure. Hey, good news, though. Steven Strasburg just retired. And for any of you guys why, Fernando, why are you bringing that up? Because remember, the Nationals had to pick between Strasburg and Rendon. They went with Strasburg, not Rendon. We got stuck with Rendon. The Nationals got stuck with Strasburg, who didn't pitch at all with this contract because he was always hurt, and now he retired. So they're now free of that contract. Guess who's still stuck with theirs? We are.
Boy, gotta love that Rendon.
Gets worse. Gets worse.
But what do you guys think though? If say for instance, Strasburg had come to us, do you think we're happy that he's retiring now and we don't have to worry about, or do you think Rendon kicks ass over there in freaking Washington? Better.
Rendon rakes. Rendon goes. He goes. He's having his 300 seasons. He's going. He's hitting 20 home runs every season. He's getting on base. He's doing this. He's hitting triples. That's what he's doing over there.
Wow.
Strasburg over here. I say he gives us 3 innings, 5 earned runs, and 1 strikeout.
Did you say Strasburg or Anderson?
He's just Boy, that's another great contract right there, huh? Huh, guys? You guys happy about that one?
Hey, man, he was somewhat serviceable after Ohtani got hurt. I mean, he had that one mistake pitch, but I mean, that was Squid's fault more than I blame Anderson for leaving that one up there. De La Cruz is a good young hitter.
Yeah.
You challenged him, but you know what? Like, I wasn't mad about that pitch either. What, it was a changeup in on the middle part of the plate, but it was in. De La Cruz just collapsed, that knee, and boom, just send it over the fence. I mean, what can you do? That's good hitting more than bad pitching for that particular pitch.
True, but
I will say that Anderson has been better as long relief than a starting pitcher. So if we keep him in the bullpen as a situation like we did with Berea, then we could have a good situation in our hands. We have Canning and Silseth in Ohtani and Anderson's roles, and we're good. We're set.
do you think this team goes back to a 5-man rotation to kill the season?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. They can barely find 6 as it was.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm so upset that Kai Busch got traded because he's a guy I would have loved to have seen right now. I understand he was going through injury, but at this point, we could have just brought the kid up.
Yeah, exactly. I think that he would have been the guy, and the guy I'm surprised because they keep bringing up Kenny Rosenberg, but what's the pitcher? The I think he's a Venezuelan. He came up last year, pitched a couple times.
Jonathan
Nate,
Diaz?
yeah, Jonathan Diaz. I want to see him get another opportunity. I mean, he pitched 10 scoreless last
Let me
year,
see.
and he's actually from last time I saw, maybe his numbers have changed, but he had some pretty good numbers down there in AAA.
Yeah, I'm looking right now to see how he's currently doing.
Yeah, because that's a guy that I would like to see if we're gonna try out somebody for next year, obviously with some holes in that rotation, maybe give him a shot.
So he's 8-1 with the 4.14 ERA in 36 games,
I mean,
78 innings pitched. But I mean, this is also in AAA, and the ball flies out there. So 4.14 isn't horrible given the PCL.
true, true. And knowing Nevin, he'll be like 5 innings and that's it, no matter what. 60.
No, he'll be like, yeah, he'll be like an inning and a third. Oh God, 14 pitches already? Give me the lefty. Give me Squid. Give me Squid out of the pen.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, Escobar throws too fast. Let's go with Squid.
That blazing speed. Bring back Escobar.
Yeah, they said that because I saw 45 on the gun when Escobar was throwing in that game where they were getting pummeled.
Yeah.
And they said he threw a fastball at 39 or a curveball. I was like, holy shit. That's not even warm up toss stuff, you know?
I'm surprised the radar gun was even able to register that.
Me too. And
Because when it's too low, they can't.
I was bringing it up to a guy that was sitting with us at the game, and I was like, man, usually a team will throw out a position player to throw out one game, during the year, two maybe at the most. This is like the fourth or fifth time, third time at home, third one I've witnessed. So
yeah, Todd's clearly the bad luck charm here.
I sure am. Oh man.
So the question of the day this year, today, and I want to get your opinion. It's one of our most engaged questions of the days.
Okay.
I put straight up question as an Angels fan: is this the lowest rock bottom you've ever felt, Todd? You've been an Angels fan longer than better than I.
I would have to say because of expectation, yes. I've witnessed a season where I thought the Angels were going to be better, like in '98. '98, it was rock bottom because we just couldn't pitch for shit. I think the team had like almost a 6 ERA. They could hit the crap out of the ball, but they couldn't pitch. They were losing like 12-10. But I think this year, because we got our honks all ready to roll, and we thought this team was going to make it at least to the last wild card, and they were going to be a fun team to watch, and we were going to win at least high 80s, maybe low 90s, and for it to be worse than last year, it's like, man, because we as a freaking being a part of this page, having to follow this team on a nightly basis and daily basis, you're more invested no matter what. And so like these seasons have been painful, because we want to see them. Our audience and us have not experienced a winning ball club yet together. And I think the page would be so much more fun. Everything that we do as a media would be so much more fun if we were winning, but yeah, a long answer to your question. It is the most like frustrating season for me.
I think the worst part is not only have we not experienced a winning season yet, I can count on one hand in the 3 years we've been doing this, how many winning months we've seen.
Oh,
seriously. I mean, realistically, have we seen more than 5 winning months since we started this page? I think maybe we're like right at 5, and we had what, like 2 this year?
3.
Right? Wasn't April winning?
We had 3 that we got because one was at 1 game over 500. So yeah.
Okay. So I mean, we've been by winning months.
Yep.
Better.
I'll have to look at my calendar because I do have that calendar they give out on opening day. So I'll have to look because I have been writing down all the not scores, but like their percentages every month. So I'll look at that and I'll get back to you on that. But
yeah, please tweet at us.
I will. And it's just, I haven't been a fan. I mean, I've been a fan, but like as vested as I've been for that long, but I say this year is worse than last year, in my opinion. Because last year we had that 14 game losing streak. It was in the middle of this. It was before. Was it It was before the All-Star break, right?
Yes, it was before the All-Star break.
Yeah, May is when we started that 14-game losing streak.
So we had that. It was like, okay, 14 straight losses. We gotta collect all our stuff. We gotta get ready. Post All-Star break, we need to have something going. And post All-Star break, we were already talking about how we should be sellers, how we don't want this to be the most like we don't want to be the most losing team in franchise history. But I feel like it was a curse, like since the season started. I think getting just the way this whole season started, since that final game of the WBC, Trout versus Ohtani, we were cursed since that moment.
I I hate seeing that. I hate that it came down to that. Put bias aside who you're rooting for in that one. The way that went was a lot of people were like, well, that's Otani giving the FU to the Angels. He's going to play one more stat packed year. The Angels will miss the playoffs and he'll walk and Trout will be left there like he struck out in the World Baseball Classic. And to me, I thought that analogy from the World Baseball Classic before the season was coming to fruition. It all signs pointed to that Trout will be back here next year, coming off an injury. Let's see who they try to team him up with now. And Otani will be on to greener pastures. But now, since last night, who knows what the hell this thing's going to look like?
Yeah.
This we're gonna have three of our most paid guys on this roster, possibly in the league, on the IL for not just this season, but if we re-sign Ohtani next season also.
Yeah, I mean Rendon's not going to play, through like May next year before going on the IL. Trapped almost on the same boat now. I think unfortunately we are now in a position where we do have to start putting the Trout contract with the Rendon contract. The difference is we obviously got a lot more out of Trout. And no matter what, Trout is our guy because he came up through this system. He's been here, he was bred here, he's made a career here. So I at least have sympathy for Trout because I've seen what he can do. With Rendon, it's kind of like if you get that new coworker who everyone's like, oh, hey, they just transferred you. They're real good over there, man. You should have seen this guy flip burgers at McDonald's, down there in Long Beach, man. He was slinging them. And now this guy just sits there, drinks beer, doesn't really want to do anything. He's got his beer gut, brings his kids around for a McFlurry here and there. And that's all he does. That's basically what Rendon is for us.
Yeah.
They talk all about what he was in Washington. By the way, Todd, did you see the hot dog on a stick Andrew Velasquez meme?
I love that picture, and it was shared everywhere. I saw that one everywhere, dude.
Yeah, well, he looks like a hot dog on a stick employee. That's what he should be.
My favorite comment was, man, don't shame hot dog on a stick like that. That's messed up. I was like, damn.
That's funny, dude. Andrew Velasquez is like, how they like crush the lemonade by hand there? He's like trying to crush the lemon and he keeps missing. No.
I thought you were gonna say someone's dipping him in there so he can crush it with his feet.
No, he'd miss that for sure.
He would try to squeeze it, but he can't because he has no muscle.
Oh yeah,
that's true. That's where I thought you were going. That's where I thought you were going.
No, if it was Rendon, he would like pick up like the I don't even know what you call it, the thing to smash. I mean, it's like that giant metal thing, and he would just hurt himself.
By the way, hot dog on a stick lemonade, no matter the flavor or the color that you get, because I think it's like, they have a blueberry, strawberry, and a regular lemonade. That is the sweetest, man. That's like diabetes in a cup, man.
Oh. I thought you were going to say that it was your favorite. I was about to say, like, that was the most lukewarm take I've ever heard. Yeah, I mean, it's average. It's fine.
No, but I'm just saying it has the most sugar. I mean, it would put Kool-Aid to shame,
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. What's your opinion on hot dog on a stick while we're on the topic? I think it's just way too overpriced.
Oh, it is, but I will say that I am a sucker for I know it's going to sound weird, but I like the cheese on the stick.
Isn't it just deep fried cheese?
Pretty much, but I'm a sucker for the cheese on the stick.
That's fair. Are you a big fair guy, Todd?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, that's fair. I just tried deep fried Oreos for the first time in my life last night.
Those are good. Those are good.
Yeah. I wasn't going to give them the nickname that they were given, but.
What about you, Vetter?
Oh, my hot dog on a stick take.
Yeah, that's where we are.
Um, I don't like hot dogs. My last hot dog was a Hoppy hot dog, and it literally
Well,
it made me throw up. And since then, I haven't had another hot dog. I'm not a big mall guy. I don't like to shop. So I mean, like I haven't. But I will say, Todd, as a child, currently still a child, and as a child, when I went to a hot dog on a stick, that lemonade was too much for me. And I
Yeah.
am a kid who loves sweets. That is too much for me. I cannot eat. My teeth literally fell out drinking it.
Oh yeah, it's so sweet. It makes you crave a Dr. Pepper for less sugar, and Dr. Pepper is loaded with sugar. So
yeah, well, I could really go for a Mountain Dew just to wash that down. It
yeah,
has way less sugar.
it's like, can I get some more lemonade in my sugar, please?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
God damn. So are we going to start a petition to have hot dog and a stick at the Big A or what?
Yeah, I mean, if it means Velasquez is going to work there, yeah, absolutely. I'll sign whatever. Hell, he can be an usher for all I care. At least we don't have to see him with that horrible. Yeah, ushers can't have beards. Yeah, we don't get to see him with that beard.
No. It would be great to see him on one of those motorcycles with a white helmet on. That'd be awesome.
I've always wondered what those guys do. Like, I've only ever seen like an old man doing it.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So, like, with that being said, like, what is Scooty Putt Putt Jr. doing? Like, what do you get paid to do? Hey, slow down there, Speedy.
I just love it though, the gap between the ushers and the actual security guards, the hired ones. Like they're all like in their 20s, late 20s, and then you have the poor ushers, which they're nice people, but they hire them like they're pretty up there. They're my dad's age or a little younger, and it's like, man, I feel bad if a fight breaks out. They're running the other way as fast as they possibly can.
To the bathroom, maybe.
They're
Oh
blowing,
no, my prune juice.
they're blowing the rape whistle.
Oh no, not the no whistle.
The security starts running their way.
Yeah, right.
I will say that I did see a young usher the last time I was there for the triple play game.
Oh, was
I
it
did
that girl?
No, it was like a man. It was like a
Okay.
young man. I was like, geez, this dude is like not over the age of like 50. What is he doing here? He was like
Okay.
20. He was like 20. I was like, I thought they only employed retired, like whatever they do. Like I thought it was just you're here for a weekday. Like
Yeah.
I thought all the ones at Walmart fired all the
The greeters.
the greeters. They all came to Anaheim Stadium, but
Yeah, that and like the ones who don't know how to work a cash register, they put in like the concession stands.
yeah, just put the card in there, sweetie. It works. It'll charge you.
Yeah, right.
Don't forget the tip. Oh man, we're bad.
There's nothing to talk about. I mean, we got to talk about hot dog on a stick and old ushers, except for like one young dude and one young like 25-year-old girl I saw doing it.
I do have something. So my
Okay.
dad brought this up. It's a really hot take, and this is coming from a non-Angels fan. He doesn't really follow baseball anymore since like the early 2000s
Smart
Mm.
man.
and the 90s. He
Smart
said
man.
we trade Trout. Can I get you guys' takes on that? Like we trade Trout next season, or he said we should have traded Trout this season to get prospects back from and just completely gut it.
Zero value. He's got no value.
Plus, he has the no trade clause, so we'd have to
Yeah.
have his approval. He'd have to, he's got his roots here. He wants to live here. He's comfortable here. He's most likely going to be an Angel for life,
He could pump his own gas here,
pretty much.
unlike New Jersey, but he still has his house there. Yeah, I mean, that's great in theory. And in theory, I would be okay with it. But I mean, he's been too hurt. No, I don't think anyone's going to want that contract. And if somebody does take that contract, there's no way you're getting anything back. It's a cash considerations kind of trade. Maybe a player to be named later, but you're not getting a group of prospects. This team's stuck. They really are. There's nothing else they can do. Really, I mean, a couple days ago, I asked do we re-sign Lucas Giolito trade? And people were calling me an idiot for even asking that question. But you gutted your farm system to get Lucas Giolito. You got rid of your two top prospects to do it. I think you have to sign them by default. This free agent class is so god awful
Yeah, it's
that you have to consider bringing back a guy like Grichuk.
you'd have to almost bring back Mustakis.
Yeah,
You have to.
exactly. Because Moustakis is arguably one of the best names available this free agency, which is crazy. Gio
Mm-hmm.
Urshela is also a top cat. So if you want to bring him back, which I think the Angels should, you're probably going to have to pay top dollar for him because there's going to be a lot of people wanting his services. He had a good year before he broke his pelvis.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. I mean, he was a 300 hitter. He was the best hitter. He was doing everything right. You have him and Moustakis, because I'm not even counting number 6. We all know he's going to miss a lot of time. Um, and then you get Neto, because I think the best case scenario for the Angels is just to take a year off in this offseason. Don't splurge. Try to focus on scouting and development more, because your O'Hoppies, your Netos, your Moniacs will continue to get better. Your ShamWows, players like that, you know, that's who you're going to have to build around. You're going to have to wait for them to hit their peaks.
So I pulled up here some of the notable free agents for next year. So we're going to skip through catcher because, we got O'Hoppy.
Mm-hmm.
First base, most of these guys are on a club option. Joey Votto, club option. Reese Hoskins, free agent. Max Muncy, club option. Josh Bell, opt out. Brandon Belt, CJ Crone, and Eric Hosmer. Those are your top available free agents. The fact that Eric Hosmer's on the list tells you something.
Yep.
Second base, we can probably skip because we have Brandon Drury. But Whit Merrifield, Jorge Polanco, Adam Frazier, Jonathan Scope, that's just some of the guys. Third base, you have Rendon, so you're probably not looking in that direction either, especially because Gio Urshela might be a guy you look at. Matt Chapman is going to be the big guy this year. Justin Turner, Josh Donaldson, some other guys. Shortstop, we can skip. And then let's real quick talk about the outfield because you're going to need to at least replace one guy.
True.
Okay. You're going to have to at least replace one guy. So Cody Bellinger, going to sign for a lot of money. He's having a good year. And to be honest, I've always kind of liked Cody Bellinger. I know he was a Dodger, but, I saw him in Rancho Cucamonga. I kind of like the guy. He's going to get paid. Teoscar Hernandez, Michael Conforto has an opt-out. Joey Gallo, the fact that he's on the list tells you everything. Kevin Kiermaier, Jock Peterson, Jorge Soler, Harrison Bader, and I'll stop after Andrew McCutchen because the list does go on. And the fact that Tommy Pham is next also tells you everything. This guy loves strip clubs like it's going out of style. So, and then, of course, you have designated hitter Shohei Ohtani. And let's real quick talk about the pitching. So you already know Ohtani. Clayton Kershaw, he's probably going to re-sign with the Dodgers. I think he's going to do one-year deals for the rest of his career, to be honest. Aaron Nola, Blake Snell, Julio Urias, Cyclops, Eduardo Rodriguez, who has an opt-out, Lucas Giolito, Sonny Gray, and Marcus Stroman, who also has an opt-out. Marcus Stroman's going to opt out. Okay, he's having a good year. He's going to get his paycheck somewhere. I think he might stay with Chicago. I think he does like it there. So with that being said, that's just a small glimpse. Guys, free agency, super thin. We're not going to be able to rebuild from free agency.
I would only look at 3 players.
Okay,
to
please.
be honest.
Please tell me those 3.
I would go with Bellinger, Stroman, and Nolan. That's it. I wouldn't try
Nola?
anybody else. Nola, yeah.
Okay, Nola. Okay, what about Gio Urshela? Are you assuming
Urshela? I'm saying we resign, obviously, and Moustakis.
Okay. Vetter, who jumped out at you there?
Well, I mean, Cody. I mean, because I've talked about I've liked Cody. He was like my favorite non-Angel. I mean, he's a Dodger, but it doesn't really matter. He's a Cub now. But I think we get him. I think Aaron Nola, he's the one that screams out to me just because he's such a big name. He's on the Phillies. We get him, we snag him from the Phillies, which would be big.
But does Dave Dombrowski let him walk away now that he was on both of your lists?
That's a good question because Dombrowski's a really good.
He's very aggressive.
Dealer. Yeah, he is. And by the way, he was a GM that was available before we got Perry. Just saying.
Yeah, but I mean, I think Dombrowski would have done the same thing that Perry did, going quote unquote all in. So with that being said, I mean, would we still be in the same position?
Yeah, that's true. But I don't know. I mean, I like Nolan for the fact that, or Nola, if say for instance they were to get him and like you said, somehow they're able to work Giolito back, you have those 2 to replace Ohtani. You still got Anderson. You still got what is it called, Sandoval and Detmers, and still got Canning unless you trade him for something. And then Bellinger, you have Cheech and Chong out there with Thice, and I think that's a good matchup. Team Weed right there. That might work. I think because I mean I would like for Moniak to get starts but I don't know if that's going to happen, and we don't know what's going to happen with Adele, and everything else. So yeah, there's just a lot of question marks, man. A ton.
Yeah, I don't know where to go. I mean, I know there's going to be a lot of Angels fans who want Cody Bellinger, and maybe that's a guy you look at if Ohtani does in fact leave. But I mean, once again, do we really, really want to take a chance on a giant Cody Bellinger contract?
No,
And
because
I mean giant Cody Bellinger contract.
yeah, he's going to demand some money. That's the only problem. And can we afford a giant contract with another? What if he gets off to a slow start and he's batting 200 again?
Yeah, I think he's going to go to a place like maybe San Francisco. It's because San Francisco is always a team that's like one or two pieces away. Always, you can never count them. I mean, they're like they're doing okay right now. And could you guys imagine if they would have actually signed either Correa, who's not having a good year, but maybe in San Francisco he would have, or Aaron Judge, maybe he wouldn't have gotten hurt. Maybe we're talking about the Giants being a lot better. Go ahead.
Arson Judge, you mean?
Arson Judge. My apologies. Yes. Yeah, I don't know, man. We have all off season to talk about this. All I know is right now we're cooked. It's over. Cue the Titanic music.
Yeah, we need to make that video already of all of us on the ship as the water is rising and we're refusing to run away while we're playing the violin. Can't hear the music right now.
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was hoping it was going to be like Supra.
Super puts it on his speakers and just cranks it. But yeah, I think what we need to do is possibly by the end of the season, kind of just break it down. We could break this season down into chunks. And I know we started there right there with months of the season or the first half. We can easily just break down exactly one problem and talk about that problem as far as how it affected the team and go from there. I mean, there's many ways. Trust me, we've got a long time to talk about it because once again, October baseball does not return to Anaheim.
It does for 1 day only.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, we play a game in October.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but there's a lot of season left to be played, and the season starts tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, get ready for those Spirit Halloween memes that Dodger fans love to post. Get ready for the Monster Jam memes that Dodger fans love to post. And don't worry, get ready for the Todd Fox post-game show where he's playing celebration because the Dodgers got eliminated.
Yep, that's also going to happen.
Because don't worry, the Angels season starts tonight, meaning tomorrow, because you're going to be listening to this on a Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And the Dodgers season ends in like a month and a half. So
yeah, they just get a few extra weeks. I mean, again, people don't understand. The Braves had such a huge run of 13 years of winning that division in the East, and they only got one World Series to bring out of it. At least they won theirs in 162, all these other players missing. It was a full freaking regular season, full playoffs, traveling, fans, everything. Dodgers won a ring pop, and people still don't freaking let that jive because it was only a 60-game season. It's not real. So this entire time, the Dodgers are marking a 13-year run too, but they don't have a real ring to show for it.
I just can't believe they got so hot out of nowhere. I mean, they're 78-48 right now. They're 12 and a half games up on the Diamondbacks. What the hell happened?
Yeah, the Diamondbacks were sitting there with a 3-game lead at one point. So
yeah, I mean, they're 66 and 61. So I mean, and so are the Giants. So it's not like either of those records are bad.
Mm-hmm.
Those are very respectable records.
Well, it just goes back to show you. I mean, we hate talking about it, but it's just real. I mean, they've got an ownership that doesn't meddle, trust the people in charge. They pay a lot of money to their scouting development, their international players, their minor league systems. And when you have a well-organized organization, people want to play for you. People want to try harder. People want to make it better. And unfortunately for us, it's them. I wish it was the Padres and not the Dodgers, but it's the Dodgers.
The Dodgers are well run from the top down. What can you say? I mean, they treat their minor leaguers like major leaguers. I mean, we've heard it from multiple people in that organization. Oh, they treat us like we're major leaguers. And they have a lot to show for it, right? These guys that no one's ever heard of keep coming up and being productive. Same thing with Houston. Who the hell knew who Pena was before last year? Oh, that's the World Series MVP.
Yep.
Why? I mean, it's the same thing with these organizations like Oakland, and actually they don't treat their minor leaguers well, so it's really weird. But I mean, whatever. Go figure. But I mean, the point is, like, there's these organizations that continuously develop this talent. We've talked about it so many times since we've gotten on the air 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You can't piece teams together anymore and win championships. It doesn't work. Every organization nowadays in today's modern day baseball that's winning consistently, winning is built from the ground up. Yeah, they plug a guy in here and there in free agency, but that's what free agency is for. It's not to build a team. You know, these guys are brought up together. These cores are brought up together. Look at the Giants and their dynasty run. 3 and 6 years. A lot of those guys were homegrown.
Correct.
The Cubs, the Royals, these were homegrown guys. Hell, even the Dodgers. Yeah, they've only won one fake ring, but they've consistently gotten there with homegrown guys or guys that nobody else looked at. How did the Oakland A's not value Max Muncy of all teams? And the Dodgers are like, oh, hey, Max Muncy, lift your elbow up. All of a sudden, this guy's the best player in baseball? Obviously, I'm exaggerating, but you get what I'm saying. It's so frustrating. The blueprints are there. They've always been there. And this organization is too concerned with saving money, with trying to buy the land around the stadium, with trying to turn a blind eye to a doctor who has multiple relapses yet still employed and is distributing narcotics, to the locker room guy for the visitors clubhouse providing sticky stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This is the stuff we keep dealing with. How come these other teams keep dealing with winning and doing things the right way, and we keep dealing with this? It is embarrassing. I am embarrassed to be an Angels fan, and I wish I could walk away. I wish I could, but like a toxic ex, I love this team, and I don't know why. Hell, I for years I've been wanting an Angels tattoo, and I just haven't found the right design. I love this team so much that I'm willing to freaking implant them on my arm like an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
It's frustrating, man. I wish I could walk away. I hate this team and I love them at the same time. And I'm done. I can't wait for Coyotes hockey. So at least I can know that my team's going to suck and be okay with it. They're actually going to be decent this year. Mark my words. I bet the over on the 73 points.
There you go. What do you think, Ved?
Fernando, I have the same mentality as you. I hate this team. I wish I grew up in the path of my dad, but also I wish I didn't. Because my dad, he's a big San Francisco fan, big Oakland, which is weird because he didn't grow up there. He grew up out here in Pico, so which is weird. But he likes the Oakland Athletics. He likes the San Francisco Giants. He likes the Clippers because they were from San Diego, which is weird. But I wish I kind of went with the path of those teams because at least those teams were good. But when I grew up, when I started following this team, they've sucked. Like, I was lucky enough to be born in a generation where I possibly could have been to a postseason game without knowing. Because apparently, according to my dad, my first ever MLB game was at the Angel Stadium. It was Tim Salmon's last game in 2006.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool.
So, and I was like 1 year old. I was born in November 2005. I wasn't even a year yet. And just like the fact, if I would have been born any other city, fine. But I still love this team. I wear them on my hat. I wear them to school. It's literally my whole personality is the Angels, other than Ducks and Clippers, but that's different. But this whole team, like, people know me as the Angels guy. People know me as the baseball guy. Like, I wish I kind of was just a fan of baseball. I am. But the fact that I'm so invested in this little team, it sucks. But I hope, not to honk my horn, but I hope there's brighter days in the future that we'll get past this. Because, I mean, look at the Reds. When was the last time you saw the Reds go in the postseason this decade?
2020. That's
yeah.
Don't look at that. Don't look at that. Okay, but like, I mean, like, when was the last time?
Didn't they make it like in 2018?
Yeah, they've had it. They've had
some pretty good runs, better.
Yeah,
Even
the Pirates had a good 3-year stretch. You know what I mean? Like it comes full circle as a fan. But the problem is, veteran. I feel you. When it starts pushing a decade, that's a problem. That's a problem. If you take 5 or 6 years off, sometimes that happens, and you just have to endure it as a fan. And like you said, look for brighter days, and then those days happen. Few good drafts, a good free agents class, unexpected players rise to the top, and all of a sudden you got a team. And that happens. But for the Angels, it's been hopeless. The last 4 years is just one letdown after another.
And it's not even like, I mean, because the only other team that has the bigger drought than us right now is the Tigers. But when is the last
Yeah.
time? Like they're such a low market team that like when is the last time anyone's ever like they've been in the news other than a new stadium or this Miguel Cabrera is at a new stadium and they're giving him a cheese hat. Like other than that, you don't really hear anything about him. Just at the end of the season, oh, the Detroit Tigers have an 11-year drought and the Angels have a 10-year drought. Like, but us, we're such a big market, and I kind of wish we went back to Anaheim because we have the name LA. That's a big target on our back. We have to play. We're expected to play like the Dodgers, which sucks, but we're expected to have the same mentality, the same record. Like I can't be at my school with the Angels hat because then I would be like, oh, how the Angels doing? And because I go to school in like the heart of Hollywood, and like it's like 10 minutes away from Dodger Stadium, so I get heckled all the time, and I still wear my Angels hat, but like it's still a situation where it's like we wear the name LA not on our chest, but like in our standings, whatever. But we just can't do it. So I think I'm sorry, A Train, but this is it, man. You had your what is it called? Your unfinished business, and you just finished your business all over this stadium and this team.
Yeah. Clean up on aisle bathrooms and right field pavilion. Oh no, I need to wipe myself. Hey, Carol Moreno, can you come wipe my bum bum?
Oh man, was it you last time, Fernando, that said that the or was it Vetter the one that said the what is it, the one from Monsters Inc. with it
Oh,
was like
oh, oh, yeah.
yeah he said, you know, the one that goes, I'm always watching you, Wazowski. He
It's the
said that,
slime trail.
yeah, the slime
Yeah.
trail, but he said that's Artie with a slobber.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I can see that.
All right, boys, do we have anything else, or can we stop this depressing pod?
Oh,
Uh,
one more.
We're
I have
cooked.
one more depressing thing.
No, can't wait.
Edison. When is the last time Edison was on the words on like when was the last time you saw the words Edison on Angel Stadium?
There's a couple
SoCal
random
Edison
seats.
Field was that
Yeah,
like all the seats still have the emblem
they
there.
still have that. Why did
Oh,
it's been so far removed from this? Like I wasn't even born when it was called Edison Stadium, whatever it was called. I wasn't even born. Like
wasn't it
what?
like still like that in like the mid 2000s, like
Hmm.
2005, 2006? I think it was still SoCal Edison.
But I
Yeah,
I get
because
your point. I get your point.
at some point the Angels were supposed to replace all those green seats with red. That was the big thing, and it never
Would
happened.
they make the Spezio seat green then?
Probably, probably.
That's fair.
But yeah, Edison is tattooed all over that place still.
Oh, speaking of Spezio, we need to talk about what we have going on next week.
Okay, we'll do that off air, or you want to do that on air?
No, we're gonna do it on air. We
Let's
can
do
tell
it.
our audience that they need to find out. Uh, One last time, thank you to our sponsor, 714 Tickets. Use code HIDDY at checkout. And then go to Noble, mention Halos in the infield, park there, walk there. Walking is good for the soul. Leisurely stroll is a gift, and you don't give Artie $20. Use that for beer.
Oh yeah,
And Tuesday is the projected date. What date is Tuesday? Let's see. Tuesday the 29th. If the stars align, Brian Crosby, director of Marvel themed entertainment, is going to come on and teach all of us how to draw the rally monkey. Okay, that's kind of cool as it is. Okay, Scott Spezio is coming on that day as well to learn how to draw the rally monkey with us and answer some of your questions on the YouTube live stream. And if all goes well, Frankie Kazarian will also be joining us. So it's going to be a star-studded event. Oh, Halos in the Infield past guest. So hopefully the stars align. Hopefully everybody comes on. And hopefully you guys come on the YouTube stream that day. It'll be like the same setup as a post-game show where we're just live. And Brian is teaching all of us how to draw the rally monkey. It's going to be kind of like the art of animation. If you've ever been at California Adventure where they teach how to draw a Disney character, same kind of thing. He's going to teach us how to draw the rally monkey. And I mean, Scott Spezio gets to learn how to draw the rally monkey. How cool is that?
that sounds really cool. I can't wait because again, there's a lot of fans that are going to want to ask Marvel questions, World Series with Spezio questions, and also wrestling stuff with Frankie. So that's going to be cool.
It's going to be a disaster that I think about. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, it's going to have to be maybe like a 3 to 4 questions per person thing. Because I mean, As much as I love all those guys, they all do have long-winded answers,
They do.
which is
They
good.
do.
Which is good. I love all of them.
Yep. Yep. So with that being said, I think that we're going to say sayonara on this episode for Todd Fox and the
The
Lone
Lone
Star.
Star Halo.
There you go. And Vetter from Artie's favorite Pico Rivera.
Woohoo!
Whoop 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 whoop.
The A Train.
He's making daddy proud.
Yup.
All right, guys. We'll see you.